right, ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a super treat here. This is Katonna Snooks, and I met her in 2014 in a Tony Robbins event. Now, we haven't officially met in person, but we did meet in back then. They had these private Facebook groups, and so there's a lot of support, and everybody was supporting back and forth and different things like that. I'll tell you, it's impossible to have a down moment within the vicinity of Katana's voice and influence. And so, and so she has involved herself in so many different challenging things in her life and her career. One of the great things that we're going to kind of draw a focal point in, she's got so much going on, so many layers of depth of transcending different things in different walks of life. But the focal point today is going to be kind of a little bit about the body in your life, right? So how movement matters. And so she's making an impact, folks, everywhere she goes. Anytime that there's any competitions that she's involved in, she's done 21 now in the last, I guess, 7 years. Is that right?
Yes.
21 competitions, bodybuilding competitions. And now tell us about the magazine opportunity here that they're looking at you at maybe being on the cover of. And so tell us a little bit about that.
I got an email if I wanted to apply, and I don't even remember when I did it, somewhere last year. I was like, oh, okay, what the heck? So I filled it out, and I just went through 3 weeks of dealing with massive fraud on my bank account, all while I was on a 21-day fast.
Mm,
Yesterday, I got this email, oh, you're in the running. The voting starts tomorrow. So I guess they reduced it to a certain amount of people. I'm not sure how exactly how it works, Miss Health and Fitness, to be on the
right?
cover. And I'm assuming do your story, which is what I'm more concerned about, is I love my story because it helps people annihilate their
Yes,
excuses. Because if she can do
exactly.
that with that, I can do it too. So my story is what really matters. So I hope we get to go into that. And so the voting started today. And so I just got this little happy spot in my life yesterday after dealing with massive fraud on my bank account. But
Yep.
that's part of my story too, is emotions ebb and flow, come and go, and it's not an excuse to take you out of your goal. You keep going. You keep going.
Ab Absolutely. And so she's got a screen name called Movement Maverick. So, what is the importance of movement? And by the way, folks, what we're going to do is, if you're seeing this, we're gonna provide some links down in the beneath the video. They're going to take you to all these different spots that you can go and interact with Katana, learn more about her and her story. But she is very, very resilient. I'll just say that resilient in many ways. And so that's what we're going to learn about is the importance of movement and with the body. And so what made you come up with Movement Maverick as a screen name there?
Because I'm a maverick, and what maverick
Mhm.
signals to my soul and my spirit and movement, I connect to my life through move. I connect to my world, to my life through movement. I'm very kinesthetic. I'm very much,
Mhm.
I need to touch, to feel, to jump, to see, to, to go, go,
Yep.
go. And the value of movement is I wanted to be a symbol of that
Yep.
be a maverick and move. Think
Yes.
outside the box and just move.
Yes.
Yeah, so that I could have it tattooed on my spirit. That's my heart.
Absolutely. And so movement is really important in physiology and managing your body throughout the day. And a lot of people do sit in front of the computer all day,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's one of the worst things you could do and have no movement whatsoever. So you had mentioned something about having scoliosis,
Yeah.
and tell us a little bit about how that came to be, how you discovered that, and then also what was your kind of initial response to that, and then how did that carry you into today?
I love that story.
Hmm.
I just got choked up and almost got teary-eyed. I love that story, and I'll tell you why. I
Hmm.
was diagnosed when I was 18 as a senior in high school. My parents didn't really do doctors or drugs or medicine, whatever, like suck it up. So they told my mom I had it, and life went on. Nothing happened. So then I went on foreign exchange to South Africa. I came home and events happened, whatever, with my family, and I ended up moving out west. And I was working in a restaurant and I was about 20 years old and I started feeling these shooting pains coming out of my spine to my side. And this was me. I wonder if it's that scolionic thing I have. I didn't even remember the name of it. So I
Mm,
was poor, didn't have an insurance, whatever, any health insurance, whatever. But back in the day, there was this newspaper here called the New Times, and it was back when there was all like ads in the newspaper, and that's how we did life, right? Well, there was this big ad for free X-ray with this chiropractor, and I'm like, ooh, free, okay, I'll do that. So I went in and got this X-ray, whatever, and I had this lodging down in the lower curvature of my back, where the bottom, I have upper and lower curvature. So in my 4 and 5, it kind of slipped a little bit and it was stuck.
mm,
And so he did some work or whatever, and he told me to go to a Rolfer. But anyway, I'll shorten the story. In that first period of time, who I saw, I literally was like, okay, they spelt out my life for me. Don't do this. You can't do that. Can't golf, which was one of my passions because they didn't want me rotating my spine. Don't
mm.
jump. I am a jumper. Do not ever tell me not to jump. I am a jumper. That's my heart. I'm a jumper. I'm still jumping.
Yep.
And don't. And my brain was like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Until I got enraged and I said, okay, well, tell me what I can do. So he
Yeah.
said, well, you can't change your body, you can't change your spine, but you can change everything that supports your spine to help it. And I said, okay, thank you very much. And I do not accept your diagnosis and or your verdict. I'm moving on. I don't
Mm,
accept this whole thing. And in those moments in my early life, God and I had an agreement. I said, okay, God, I took the Almighty Physician into the utter being of my soul, and I
mm,
made a constitution and declaration that I will have no needles, no shots, nothing. When I felt pain, that was going to be a message of what I needed to direct to and
mm,
keep going. And that was back when I was 20. And so I
mm.
just kept chipping away, chipping away, learning, chipping away, and it worked. God has presented me the perfect healer at the perfect time every time. Even still, I just found another perfect healer. For the stage that I'm at right now, I found another
Yep.
perfect healer. So, you
Mm.
know, you can listen to the diagnosis and you do not have to accept the verdict. And that's my mantra. You can hear what the
Yeah.
doctors are saying, but let me tell you
Hmm.
something, whoever's listening right now, God is the almighty physician, and the
Mm.
power of the human spirit with God, you can achieve anything if you choose to and get all the junk out of your brain that you can't, and you say, yes, God, yes, we can, yes, we can, yes, we can. And I did it. And I am doing everything. I could cry. I am
Yep.
doing everything that they told me
Mm.
not to do and
Hmm.
then some, and then some, and then some. And if I listened to
Yes.
those doctors, I would be
Hmm.
freaking walking like a crippled lady right now. And I would not have the
Mm.
joy that I have with the movement and everything that I can do. So that would be my gift to everyone out of that story. Listen to what they say. You don't have to take it in. You can just sit there and listen
Hmm.
and ask them, well, what can I do? Decide for
Hmm.
yourself. I hear your diagnosis. I don't accept the verdict. I'm out of
Yep.
here. And I will find people that are congruent to my belief system. And I did. And when you give it to
Mm.
God and your heart is open and you truly believe that all things are possible, if you do believe and have God with you, all bets are off. And I did
Amen.
it. And I did it. So I'm winning,
Outstanding.
winning. Yeah.
Outstanding. This is a great story, guys. If and gals, if you're listening to this, go to the Instagram Movement Maverick and just look, just see the results. And it's continual movement, it's continual activity. She gets trained on a regular basis. She's committed and showing up and having that discipline of showing up. And not just, and then when she's there, she's putting out max energy. And that's really what it takes to break through in business and in life, in
Yeah.
relationships, in health. This is a living example of what's possible. And, she's been on so many stages in the last 7 years. 21. What's the most memorable that you would say in the last 7 years?
I think it's always memorable when you step out on your first show because you're so naive and you don't know everything.
Mm,
So that would be a moment, but I don't know. I have several, but it was pretty great last year because I just turned 63 in December. But so prior to
hmm
that, in the fall, I was 62 and I tried something different and I went to Utah. And for me, my nemesis has been posing. You have to do all this posing in this little box and present to the judges, and it's really, really important for your score. You have to be able to present your physique. And I've had to work through a lot of deep, deep, deep internal suppression that I didn't know was still there from childhood, just a lot of trauma. So that's another thing that brings me to tears. And I've always been told, you know what your why is, your mission is because it makes you cry, and my mission makes me cry.
Yep. Yep.
So when I got into physique
Mm,
competing, I didn't know that you had to do this posing, and I didn't know you need to do it in heels with a spray tan and all the stuff that goes with it. So it was daunting, daunting.
hmm
And my first show, yeah, this was a memorable event. The training for my first show, I was at the gym trying to do this posing, whatever. And I finally just said, I just can't, I can't. And the minute I said I can't, Tony came into my head and I said, if you can't, you must. Oh no. Oh no. Because if your brain tells you you can't, you must, because there's a
Yeah.
gift on the other side. There's a gift
Mm,
on the other side of that challenge for you. You
yep.
can't stay where you already can't do something and you already know what you already know and can do. In order to expand and get over to the other side,
Yep.
you have to do what you don't think you can do. And at that
Yep.
very moment, at that day at the gym, I said, if I can't, I must. Okay. And I broke down the box, one part of the box at a time, one stage at a time until I could move around from the front to the back and turn back to the front. And I just took it one step at a time until I could link it all together like a dance.
Mm,
So, so what I found over time, two things. God called me forward to do this show. That was another moment. Somebody told me I should do a show, and I'm like, absolutely not, was my answer. I'm not putting band-aids over my nipples and floss up my butt. Ain't happening. No way. My Christian brain and heart said, no way. I left the gym that day. This is a true story. I left the gym that day. I'm driving down the road and it would not leave my spirit. So I called a coach that I know that competes and does food prep. And I said, well, what do you, and he knew me. And I said, what do you think about me doing a show? And he said, well, I think you do really good at Masters. So I asked him all the questions I needed to know from all the dirty things I was told about competing. And he said, yeah, those things happen to people because they weren't ready. They were doing too many things they shouldn't be doing, blah, blah, blah. If you do it safely and you do it right, you'll be fine. I said, okay. I do what I do. I said, okay, I'll pray about it for 2 days. That's what I do. I give things to God. I take my flesh out of it. What do you think, God? And I just give it 48 hours. This is no joke. This is how I pray sometimes with stuff like that. I open my hands and I look up and I say, okay, God. And I did not even get the words out of my mouth. This is a true story. I wish I had a film of it. Okay, God. And he goes, just like this, just like this. We're doing it. His big hand, we're doing it. I'm like, we're doing it. What does that mean? So I kept asking for 2 days. Oh, okay. I just thought, that was something I made up in my head. That was just a moment. It wasn't real. Okay, God, I said we're doing it. What do
mm.
you mean we're doing it? I've never done this in my life. Scared out of my mind. Next day, same thing. I literally started competing by, the the emoji. It's like I was like, I
Oh
guess we're
yeah,
doing
that
it. I
that
don't
that
know. I guess we're
emojis.
doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess we're doing it. And I did it literally on faith, totally on faith.
Wow.
And then God showed me why. He showed me why. He was
Mm,
pulling me forward to blaze a path for people that are scared like me, but I'm willing to look dumb. I'm willing to fail. I'm willing to push myself to the challenge. I'm not, he knew that he could put me there and I would do it. So then I got to the posing and it was just stuck for me. And so anyway, long story short, what a gift. And now I don't hate posing. Posing helped my scoliosis because I had to learn to move my pelvis anterior
mm.
because I was stuck in an anterior tilt. I had to be able to move it in and out to be able to move around in these positions.
Wow.
So it freed up my pelvis and helped my scoliosis. and this suppression that can be freed by singing or
Yeah.
dancing. The
Yeah.
posing released this little piece. I've done lots of counsel, lots of Tony and whatever, but there was this
Yeah.
little chip. There was this little chip inside, and he had to
Mm.
let it, he needed that chip to go so that I could better serve my community, and it worked.
Mm.
So I'm so grateful. I was scared out of my mind. If you can't, you must. I said, okay, God, we're doing it. And I did it. And here I am 7 years later.
Yeah. Outstanding. So, I mean, that's really great. If you can't, then you must. And
Yeah,
so this is a mindset shift, folks, that she's talking about. So think in terms of your business, think in terms of your home life, think in terms of anything. It's the same mechanism of if I cannot, then I must. If
yeah.
for some reason that there's
A
most,
block. You hit a
yeah,
block. Yeah.
absolutely.
You
Yeah,
hit a
there's,
block, and your brain and the devil are
mhm,
ready to take you out with all the excuses you need. Oh, it's okay. You're 55. What were you thinking? All the excuses could come. And I said, no, no, if I can't, I must. And God said so, and I'm doing it.
outstanding.
And I did not move. I stayed right in that lane the whole time, and lots of stuff came up. My
Yeah.
scoliosis started wreaking some havoc on. So what happens is, and I've learned with scoliosis, it's called orientation, because
Okay.
your brain is constantly on guard because it knows you're not safe. So when you're always in that fight or flight mode, so what happens is when you're tested with different movements, you'll orient another piece of your body to get there. So
Interesting.
I wasn't able to rotate my spine on top of my hips. I would move my hip with my spine. So a whole chunk would come with me, which is why I couldn't move freely.
Yep.
So it taught me a lot of things like that. So that's why it helped my scoliosis so much, is all the movement patterns I had to learn, and gaining different muscle strengths in different parts of my body that I stayed away
Yes.
from because it was scary. But I got
Yes.
coaches that helped me. And so yes, it was scary. Yes, I hit lots of walls. Yes, I hit, but the obstacle's the path, baby. The obstacle is the
The
path. The
obstacle
obstacle
is the
is the
path.
path. You hit the obstacle and everybody dips out. And I
Mm.
was telling you earlier, the most common question I ask is, how do you stick with it? I hit the obstacle face on and I keep going. And if I
Yep.
have to change my strategy, I change my strategy. If I need a different coach, I find another coach. If I need to adjust my plan, I just adjust my plan.
Hmm.
You don't get hit the obstacle and, oh well, blah, 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 and back off and go back to your comfort zone. Comfort
Yep.
zone is evil. Good is the enemy of
Mm.
great. If you desire greatness in your life, you are going to have obstacles. And you got to, I love, one of my slogans is, you got to be ready. You got to be ready. You got to be
Hmm.
ready with those I am bold, I'm courageous, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Yes.
I can. I am a child of God. I
Amen.
am strong. I am
Hmm.
resilient. I am
Hmm.
capable. And I have those things ready when that obstacle comes. So nothing takes me out. Nothing. Anybody that
Amen.
knows me and has trained me will tell you that. They will throw anything at me and I'll do
Yeah,
it.
and you can and you can see it on your Instagram too, because she makes it public. That's it. She mentioned a couple of things, folks. Coaches is really important.
Yeah.
That's really, see somebody on the outside looking at your picture in the frame. You're in the frame, you can't see it, but they're looking at how important are coaches, Katana?
It's everything. And, I'll say the most important thing, you're allowed to change.
Mm,
You're allowed to change, because you build this relationship and then it's kind of hard to peel away. You feel guilty. You don't want to confront them. You don't want to hurt that or whatever. You're allowed to change. If it's not working for you and you are not getting the changes you want, it's on them. You're allowed to leave. They didn't give you
mm,
what you need, then go find one that does. So what I
mm,
have done is, if something's not right, I make a tweak and find the right person. And I have got
mm,
a fantastic coach at Premier Fitness Systems in North Scottsdale. And they do
mm,
training online. They're amazing freaking people. I've been at that gym. It's a private studio type setup. It's not a box gym
mm,
or anything. So it's very elite training, and they do lots of athletes, MMA, pro baseball, LPGA, PGA, lots of
yeah,
stuff like that, rotary sport type stuff.
yeah,
I started there in 2016 before I started competing. And then I started my competing while I was there. But then I also, after a couple years of competing, I added in the competition coach from the outside as well, because they don't
Mm.
have the big machines there, because you use more of your
Yep.
body and cables and weights and stuff like that. They make your body do the work.
Yep.
So I added that to try to help me, but my body answered back that it was too much for me. So I've made a massive change. Again, the obstacle is the path.
Is the path.
Last year taught me a lot of things. As I ramped up with more aggressive weight loading, my body
Hmm.
said no, and I am 63, and it's not really advised to do that much weight loading. I don't need to. So Dallas at Premier Fitness Systems, he said he was willing to do the training for me. I had a coach do it for me there before. He's not there anymore, but I was successful at it. It was fine. I don't have to do, this is another thing I guess I would share with coaching. When you're in with a coach, and maybe if you want to do a show, you don't have to do what everyone else is doing. You do what you
Mm.
need to do. You find out
Okay.
what works for you. I just recently saw something even about wind, earth, and fire, and it
Mm.
applies to how best you train. What type
Mm.
of training works for you? I
Yep.
don't do well with machines. My body is designed to move and jump, and that's how I connect to my world and to my
Yep.
body. I need to
Hmm.
jump and move and pull
Yep.
cables and not just sit in a machine and dump weight on
Yep.
me. It
Yep.
doesn't do well for me. So coaches are very important. It's not about a monetary exchange. It's about growth, change, and reaching your goals. And if you are not reaching your goals, the money doesn't matter.
Mm.
It's stupid. Just pay a coach money and not have what you want. Leave. It's time to
Right.
go. You're
Right.
allowed to leave. But it's scary to confront a coach, and you don't have to tell them you're not working out for me. You just freaking say I'm done. They don't need an
Yep.
explanation. They should have
Yep.
done what you asked. And if they're
Right.
not showing up for you and doing what you asked, move on.
Yeah.
Move on. So that's what I've done is I keep learning, I keep seeking. One of
Hmm.
my friends once said to me, "You're amazing. You just keep digging." I go, "Yes." I
Hmm.
get my shovel and I just
Yeah.
keep digging.
That's it.
And I've looked for those gold nuggets. And Dallas has been an absolute nugget in my life. And it's
Yeah.
really interesting. Physiology, movement, all those things. And when you're on a high vibration and you're pulling good into your life, more good just comes to you. It's just the law of the universe. It's how it works.
Yeah.
It flows, the
Yep.
energy flows where your focus goes. If you're focusing on excuses and negativity and why it's not going to work and why I can't do it and why it never worked before, bleh, 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 yeah, you're not going to reach your goal. And you'll
Hmm.
probably have a coach that aligns all that nonsense for you. Oh, are you tired
Mm.
today? Or my coaches never coach me on how do you feel today. They
Yeah.
coach me on my goal. They coach me on what I choose to
Yep.
achieve and how I want to expand my greatness. And I am
Yeah.
a freaking super age and queenager. That's what I am. I'm a super age and queenager, and I will not be denied. End of story. I will not be
Yeah.
denied. I am going to be a legend. I'm going to show people continually what's possible if you keep moving. You don't have to do a
Mm.
show. You don't have to lift heavy weights. Get the functional movements down, be able to lunge, squat,
Hmm.
hinge, push,
Yep.
pull, walk
Yep.
properly, fix your feet, fix how you're walking. Your feet
Yep.
are everything. It goes up the chain.
Hmm.
All those movement patterns are vital to aging well and feeling
Wow.
great. And I trust
Hmm.
my body. I can still ski, rollerblade, do all the things I want to do because I trust my body because I know it moves well. What happens when you start aging? Oh, I don't know if I want to reach for that. Oh, well, I think I'm just going to lean on the thing or,
Mm.
and my coach and I were laughing like, when did you start? When did it start that you sit down to tie your shoe? When you're a kid, you just stand there and tie your shoe. So I don't
Yeah.
sit down to tie my shoes. I stand and tie my shoe. I'm standing, lift my leg up, and tie my shoe.
There
Just
you
simple
go.
things like that. Simple things you can do.
That's outstanding. These are simple things, and it's the repetition. Repetition's the mother of skill, right? So
Yes.
that's and
If
literally it's
somebody asks me, give me one word, how you stick with it, consistency. Period.
mm,
Period. That's the
hmm.
most important word. You can have discipline and not be consistent.
Yeah.
So great. You have sporadic discipline,
Yeah.
but can you be disciplined consistently?
Mm.
You have to
Yeah.
consistently have a mindset, consistently show up, consistently be
Yep.
disciplined with your food. Not,
Yep.
well, I was good for 5 days, so I'm just going to eat a pizza tomorrow. No, no.
Hmm.
So then that goes
Yep.
back to, I'll just throw this little one in there.
Hmm.
The other thing I tell people, the reason they can't close their gap, they're struggling with, I'm here and I want to be here. You have to, capital HAVE, have to have a compelling, if you don't know that word, look it up,
Yep.
compelling, driving, pushing, driving, reason
Yes.
why. Not you should do it, not it's a good idea. Well, I'll think about it. A compelling driving reason why you must do it. You have to do it, you must do it because when your brain knows it's a must, you things get out of the way and you're
Yep.
there.
Yep.
If you just kind of want it, sort of want it, think it's a good idea, you're not going to do it. Your brain will take you
Yep.
out. If you decide this is it. I draw the line, not one more day, not one more time, not one more. I'm doing it. That's it. All bets are off. I'm doing it. You have decided. What's your why? If you've
Mm.
decided and don't have a why, your will still take you out. You'll only last for so long. Your driving,
Mm.
compelling reason why will trump your will when your will wants to give up. Your why will push you through. That's what I've learned.
Amen.
When my will wants to give up, your driving reason why is connected to God, in my opinion, in my
Yeah.
experience. It's
Yeah.
connected to God. And the greatest force in the human
Mm.
person is our spirit, because our
Mm.
spirit has God in it. And God
Yep.
is the almighty strength. So if you have a
Yep.
compelling driving reason why, your why has God in it that's going to trump everything when you don't feel like going, when your brain's talking smack, when something, I was frauded for $77,000 the last two
Yeah.
weeks. I've been dealing with
Yeah.
that. So what? I went to training. I killed my training today. I killed it. It
Nice.
doesn't matter. Why? Because my must is so strong,
Yep.
nothing will deny me from keeping going. I keep going no matter what. And if you keep moving and keep going forward, no matter what's going on, you keep your energy up. You keep
Yep.
that energy up. And I say I have a power filter. My power filter on my crown chakra, people,
Yep.
places, and things, I get to choose what comes in. And if it's coming in and it's energy down, it's out. Energy up, energy up, energy up, you're allowed in. People, places, and things. Energy up, you can come in. Energy down, out. And you don't have to be
Mm.
mean. You don't have to be rude. Just say, oh, nice to meet you, and stage left, out of here. So I don't take that junk into my body. So I
Yep.
protect my vibration at all costs. So I'm
Mm.
I'm always ready, no matter
Yep.
what. No matter
Hmm.
what. On a dime, I'm ready because I
Yep.
decided and my must is in place. And the how, it just shows up. You don't have to
Hmm.
worry how. If you
Yep.
decide and you have a resolve that that is what's going down, and my why is so strong, I am immovable, you'll
Yep.
figure out how to do it because that energy will just create it to happen. It's going to happen.
Yep.
You'll draw people to you.
Yep. Yeah. So that's guys and gals, go to the Instagram and watch and learn and get. So when you keep showing up in life, it changes things. And so talk about like the importance of, how is important is it to command to take ownership over the body so much so, and how does it impact relationships?
It impacts everything,
Hmm.
everything, because there's something that happens. I'm not a doctor, and there's all kinds of things written about it. There's something that happens when what it does, even when they say you strike a Wonder Woman pose, what it does to on a
Yes.
cellular level to your body.
Yep.
Movement charges you, it charges you up. But most importantly, when I show up to my training, and I've shared this many times on my social media, who are you as a person?
Mm.
Because the greatest need of the human personality is to stay consistent with who we believe we are. Well, who do you
Yeah.
believe you are? So you take that person that you believe you are and you go to training. And how you do anything is how you do everything. So
Yeah.
if you're a corner
Yep.
cutter and you go train and you're a corner cutter, you're just going to be a corner cutter. But
Yep.
you got to get that identity into place. and raise your standards. Like Tony says, you want to change your life, raise your standards. Get
Yep.
your standards high, stick to them. Don't ever, ever don't defy a standard to meet an emotional need. So these emotions come up and then you defy a standard because, well, I'm lonely, or well, I'm hungry, well, I had a hard, and all that emotional jabber going off. And then
Yeah.
you defy your standards and you give
Mhm.
in. Don't
Yeah.
give in. So
Yeah.
if you get your identity in place of somebody you respect in yourself and then go to training, you don't cut corners. You do everything you're asked, plus one, two, three, four or more. Every single time you touch that door and you go into training, you're ready. You're ready with
Hmm.
100% of who you are to give it all you got and look and see what happens. See what you
Yep.
can do with that
Yep.
attitude. So
Hmm.
that's what I do is the importance of all of that in your life. It you you train for your life while you're in
Yep.
training. That's what's so great
Exactly.
about it is training is an impetus for self-empowerment. You get an
Mm.
opportunity to grow in yourself and
Hmm.
empower your character, your essence, your spirit muscle, your physical muscle, your brain
Hmm.
muscle, all of it in an
Hmm.
hour of training. And I go out in my life, oh, Wells Fargo, excuse me? No, we'll be filing a e-rebuttal and I will be sending this to the Bureau and you're not knocking me down. But I
Mm.
wouldn't have that power to fight back if I was
Yep.
cutting corners. Well, I'm kind of tired today and clucking my shoulders. And, well, let's just do 2 rounds of that, okay? So if you have a coach
Yep.
that co-signs
Yep.
that BS that you're giving them, get a new
Yep.
coach. Get
Yep.
a coach that pushes you beyond that you would push yourself. And
Yep.
that's the coach I have. And
Yeah, that's
he's
outstanding.
learned this too about coaches. If they go to school on you, they will be the best coach for you. My
Mm.
my Dallas went to school on me and he understands that this girl thrives. I love to be challenged and I'm very competitive with myself. So he puts markers for me. So if I'm
Mm.
jumping, he'll say, "Okay, I want you to do whatever." And then he'll put down like a green band or something. Okay,
Yeah.
so now I'm going and I'm triggered by that green band. I'm like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then I say all my I ams and I take a breath
Yeah.
and I haul butt and then I beat it. And it's so fun. But he's learned how to bring the
Yep.
best out of me. That's a good coach. They go to
Yep.
school on you, they learn what lights your fire and how to
Yep.
bring you out of here to there. And
Yep.
I've advanced so far with him because he does that for me. So get a
That's
coach
outstanding.
like that.
Yep. That goes to school on you and learns how what makes you tick
Yeah.
and
But
knows how
that
to.
hour is an opportunity to change everything in your life, to
That's
have a
right.
power in you and a
That's right.
relationship with yourself that you trust yourself. And I find that
That's
people
it.
don't trust themselves. You put
That's
them on a
true.
diet plan, they don't trust themselves. You put them on a
Hmm.
training plan, they don't trust themselves. Well, quit cutting
Yep.
corners. Go to
Yep.
training and do it all plus some. And then you
Hmm.
told your mind you can do it. Do a fast for 21 days and don't cheat and don't lie and do the deal.
Mm.
And then yesterday was my 21st day. I woke up today a bigger, better, stronger person because
That's
I
it.
did that for myself and I showed up for myself, but I knew I would show up for myself. So I'm not afraid to do it. So lots of people say, oh, well, it's a bad time, this, that, that. Well, nothing's a good time. Well, it's not
That's
a good
true.
time to have a baby. Well, it's not a good time to buy a house. Well, it's not a good time to start training. Well, I don't want to start the diet yet until. It's never
That's
a
right.
good time. Just start. Just
Hmm.
start, do it, be disciplined, stay
Hmm.
consistent, have a driving, compelling reason why, don't quit no matter what, dig in for God for help, whatever, call a friend, get some support, and stay with it. And then you learn to be your own best friend and trust yourself. And then you can step into anything and know that you'll show up for yourself. You're not scared of yourself. You're not
Yep.
afraid to step into something. It's so
Yeah.
exciting. It's really
It
exciting.
is. It is.
Yeah.
It is. It is. It's really great. And so showing up for yourself like that and increasing that trust level in yourself. So when you encounter somebody that you really, really care about, that maybe doesn't, believe the same thing, and like how do you handle that when you're at such a high level of energy? What do you do?
It depends. I mean, if they sincerely want help, which is interesting, that's normally most people that talk to me, they're broken. They're just broken. And their
Mm.
brokenness wasn't from today. So I'm really gifted at quickly going to where it started. I don't, God just gave
Mm,
me a gift. I can get them to where it started and help
mm,
them. As it's been said, awareness is the first step. To be aware of yourself, to be aware of, oh yeah, I noticed that, yeah, at that time in my life, this is what happened. And then
yep,
ever since then. So it's not about today. It's never about today. It didn't
yep,
have, it's like when the relationship breaks up today, it was already broken. It was already over. So you have
yep.
to go back to when was it really over and what created it
Mm,
to be over. So I help people if they really want, if they really choose to get better. I'm super sensitive and
mm,
empathetic and supportive. I can use words that they align with me and they don't feel beat up
mm,
or made fun of or whatever. I can love them. I can love them to where they need to be because I really do think the first stage is an awareness of, oh, this isn't
mm,
now. This is old stuff. Yeah, you're right. And then they start thinking about that. And I can help them and guide them to, well, do you really want to live the rest of your life like that? Because nobody does. I know I didn't. I've gone through
yeah,
massive trauma over and over until I didn't anymore. I learned from
yep.
Tony so many tools to knock me out of it. And the greatest thing, one of many, one of the greatest things I learned in my first Tony Robbins in 2004, I was despondent. I didn't want to live anymore. And he had a guy up on stage and he asked him to get mad. And the
Mm,
guy was just kind of laughing and he's pushing. Tony's 6'7". He's like, come on, get mad,
yeah,
get mad. And the guy just sort
yeah,
of laughed. And he's like, come on, get mad. And he couldn't do it. And he
yeah.
and he's like, well, and then he turns to us and he said the magic words. He goes, that's right. You don't get mad. You do mad.
Mm,
You think it, you speak it, and you put
mm,
it in your body. So then he
mm,
turned back to the man. He said, now get mad. The guy was fumbling and trying. He goes, okay, well, what would you have to think about? And he's like, well, I'd have to think about they really ticked me off. And yeah, yeah, yeah. And you know how Tony coaches.
yeah,
He's coaching his mind to say bad things. And then he said, all right, tell me, tell me. And he had him say bad things. And like,
yep,
put your body like, you're really mad.
yeah,
Put your body. So then the guy's like,
yep,
oh, mad. And he's like
yep,
thinking it and he's talking it.
yep.
And so then he turned to us. He goes, that's right. You do mad. And you do it by what you
Mm,
think, by what you say, and how you hold your body. And I was
yep.
sitting in the audience and I'm like, oh my God. I'd been cheated on and
Mm,
with the neighbor. It was horrible. I
mm,
almost died. And I had a 6-year-old
mm,
daughter to raise, and I felt like he shot an
mm,
arrow straight at me in the audience. I'm like, oh my God.
mm,
I'm doing
mm,
sad. I'm
yep.
doing it. I don't
Mm,
have to do it. I am the author of my suffering. I am. Nobody else. I'm the
mm,
author of my own suffering, and I don't have to choose to suffer. And the way
that's
I
right.
don't suffer is I change my thoughts, I change my words, and I change
Mm,
my body. And then he would
yep,
have us, you've been at an event, he'll have us, everybody up. We
yep,
all get
yep,
up and we're dancing. He goes, dance like Britney Spears. I still remember that. Dance like
yep,
Britney Spears. Turn to the right, massage your partner. Turn to the
yep,
left, massage your partner.
yep.
And then he tells us to take a seat. And he sat down. He said the magic words again. Do you feel different than you felt before? And I'm sitting there like, what just happened? Wait, I'm depressed. Wait, I'm sad. What just happened? I don't feel that
Yeah,
anymore.
yeah,
And at that very moment, I learned, oh God, I just got like a shot in my heart right now. I learned
yeah.
so deeply to my
Hmm.
core of how important it is to move your body. And Tony goes to teach, as you know, the fastest way to change your state when you feel like that is move your body,
Move your
move.
body.
And so when I remember coaching this person one time, and she was in her stories, and I said, all right, run around the building, come back and give me 5 push-ups. She looked at me like I was crazy. She ran around the building, did the push-ups, and sat down. All of a sudden, she sat up higher. She was
That's right.
excited and she was ready to talk differently.
I'm telling you.
It's
That's it.
everything. It's
Yeah.
everything. And then the last little take homer that he did, life changer. You know, you're just driving down the road. And then he goes like this, and the song comes on. I go,
Yeah.
yeah, that song. I'm sitting there in my poor me, poor
Yeah.
me. I know that song, that song. He goes, yeah, that song. We got married to that song. And I'm like, yeah, that song. And then he goes, change the station. I'm like, that's brilliant.
Change
I
the
never
station.
drink. Oh, because he also said, and what do you
Mm,
do? Turn up the volume. I go, yeah, you turn up the volume. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then he goes, change the station. I'm like, that's
yeah.
freaking brilliant. I never
Yeah.
once thought to change the station because he goes on
Yeah.
telling us what we do. We turn the volume up, we're bawling, we're reliving the moment, poor me, blah, blah, blah. And he tells us what we do. I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm all in alignment with him. And then he broke my alignment. He's like,
Yeah.
no, change the station. Brilliant. So but that's like such a word picture for everything.
Yeah.
Anything that happens, you can change the station, whether
Yeah.
person, place, or thing, change the station, change it.
Absolutely.
If it's disrupting your spirit, and
Yeah.
it's not in alignment with who
Mm,
you are and who you
that's
stand
good.
for, change the station.
That's
And
good.
those were the three pivotal things in my life that I took from that event that changed me forever. Forever. It's like a tattoo on my heart. It
That's
struck
impact.
me.
That's impact right there, folks. That's complete life transformation from the moment of being a little girl up until now, 18 to 20 years old, and having that told to you that you're never going to do all of these different things that you love doing and
Yeah.
making a new decision. She made her
Yeah.
own decision. And, I'm curious, you've been through a lot. And so like what was maybe the toughest time in your life and what did you do to overcome it? You've mentioned a couple, which I would say probably maybe the toughest, but that's not for me to say. That's totally for you to say. If you,
There's been several, but I would say that was one of the top because I was raised in a small dairy farm town of 1,500
mm,
people in upstate New York. We
hmm
didn't lock our cars. Life was free. It was the 70s. I had
hmm
such an innocent spirit, so
hmm
innocent, not a city girl. And this man cheated with my neighbor. And I
mm,
remember backing out of the driveway and I'm like, what is his car doing now down there? And I drove
mm,
down there. And this is how innocent I was. I knocked on the door and it took a while and I heard like some shuffling around or whatever. And then he comes to the door with disheveled hair. It was like 8:30 in the morning, disheveled hair. And he's telling me he's
mm,
helping her paint her house or something. And then I snapped. This snap just went through my body. And what happened was I
mm,
referred it to a movie. I'm like,
yeah,
wait, I've seen this in a movie.
yeah,
This is like from a movie. I know what's going on here. And
mm,
my whole body went into complete panic. And what I
yeah,
learned later was it's called frozen. And so what
oh,
happened at that specific moment is when your body freezes like that, it triggered a betrayal from back when I was like about 3 years old. They split us children up and my
mm,
oldest sister went with my dad. So I lost my dad and my oldest sister, and no one talked about it. No one healed me over it. And I was the youngest child. And then all of a sudden, my life was blown up. And so, on a
yeah,
cellular level, it's in my body.
yes,
And so, that betrayal of him with the neighbor, it sparked that cellular memory in me. And my body just shut down.
mm,
And I was despondent for about 6 months, despondent. And I've got
wow,
a little girl to raise. So it was rough. It was really
I
rough.
bet,
I was not in a good place. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. It was horrible.
yeah,
And I wasn't really much of a drinker, but I drank with him. And there was this one night, because then I was dealing with this wasn't my daughter's father. It was her stepdad, who she loved very much. They were closer than
yeah,
even her own dad. And so she still had visitation to her dad. And so her dad,
mm,
short story, her dad took her from school one day off of his time he was supposed to, and it was a Tuesday night, and I was worried about her getting home or whatever. And I'd gone to this restaurant and I had a glass of wine. I
hmm
had one at home and then one at the restaurant. And when I was driving home, I was fudging for a CD or something that was in my car. And somebody, for whatever reason, thought I was swerving or something. And they called the police on me. And I got arrested. In the middle of
mm,
all of that, I ended up getting arrested
wow,
with a felony DUI because I had a child in the car, which I knew nothing about.
wow,
I didn't know that law.
yeah,
I'm just trying to save my daughter because
yeah,
her she was whatever. It's a long story,
long story, yeah,
but it was not good, and so that just compounded everything. And
hmm
I just was struggling, and nothing was working, nothing. And I'm
mm,
just not a person that does well with counseling on a couch. That's just not my nature. I don't want to sit and talk about my
right,
parents and blah, 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 whatever. So my friend said she was a UPW, her and her whole family. And in 2004, that's when she said, I'm gonna, she was gonna crew the event in San Jose, and if you want to go, you can stay with me. Just get yourself there. And I didn't even answer her. I was so out of it.
Yeah.
And anyway, so that was kind of the
Yeah.
total shift of my life. As I said, okay, I'll go, and I
Yes.
went, and I started turning things
Yes.
around. But it was pretty rough.
Yes.
It was
Yes.
pretty rough. I'm not that girl, and I'm not my past, and I'm not my trauma. I'm not
Hmm.
my pain. I'm me. I'm the
Yep.
person that God designed me to be. And I do not judge myself on things I did because of I couldn't cope. I was in trauma. I was whatever. It is what it
Yep.
is. I'm human.
Yep.
So if I'm in my right-minded, clear self and I'm doing those things, that's a problem because
Hmm.
I'm consciously choosing something bad. When
Hmm.
I'm reacting because I can't function and I don't, what,
Yep.
I'm not even thinking straight, but I'm not my past and I'm not my trauma
That's
and
it.
I'm not my scoliosis and I'm not
That's
defined
it.
by that.
That's right.
That was then and this is now.
Yep.
The defining moment is what are you going to do about it and
Yep.
how are you going to better yourself as a result of
Hmm.
all of that?
Hmm.
And I don't want to say I want to relive it, but I thank God for all of it because it opened up a whole new part of my life that the husband and the kids and the stepkids and the white picket fence and whatever, I was hiding behind all that because if I had all that, then I'm okay, which was
Yep.
connected to my childhood that I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough. You could just be like your
Hmm.
sister, then you'd be loved and all those
Yep.
distorted things that I had deep inside of me. I got the husband, I got the kids, I got the house, I got the dog, I got the stuff, I got the car, I got all
Hmm.
the things, but I was nothing because I
Yeah.
was all behind all of that
Yeah.
and very codependent. And so I got to release all of that and be who I
Hmm.
am and live my life for me with God. And that's a
Yeah.
whole different way of living.
Yeah.
So I think what was hard about that is it sounds kind of funny, but I didn't even know what I didn't know. I
Hmm.
didn't know that that's who I was. I didn't
Mm.
know that I was living that way.
Yeah.
And this whole event blew up everything for me to see what I needed to see.
Yeah.
And then we all have a choice. It wasn't fun. It didn't feel good. It was really hard, but we can
Yeah.
do hard things. We can do
That's
hard
right.
things. And I chose to do hard things. And I
Yep.
got the help I needed. I trusted people that I needed to trust. And we started rebuilding me one brick at a time, who God
Yeah.
said I am. God's
That's right.
definition of me, not what my parents put on me, not what people said about me, not my
Yep.
old self smack that I used to talk to myself about.
Yep.
I put in place who God said I am and what
Hmm.
I'm capable of doing with me and letting
Yes.
go of all that other stuff and
Hmm.
going forward one step at a time with that identity. Not a
Yes.
codependence, not not smack, I'm not good enough and all of that junk in my head anymore. I can
Yes.
tell you right here, right now, talking to you, I am free. I am
That's right.
free. And most people's attraction to me is I'm so free, and they're not.
Yep.
And they want to be
Mm.
free, and I want them
Mm.
to be free. And I
Hmm.
love helping people get free. However, I can't shove the horse's head in the lake.
That's
I
right.
can't force the water up your mouth.
Yep.
You have to want it so bad that you're willing to do the hard. You're willing to cry. Cry for something good for yourself. Don't cry to
Mm.
stay suffering. Cry for something great. Cry because you
Amen.
want it so bad. Cry
Hmm.
because you want a different life.
Yep.
Cry because you're
Amen.
willing to work hard.
Yep.
And don't take no for an answer and stop making excuses. Marry your story of strength and divorce that story of limitations. It's
Yes.
nonsense. It's nonsense. And
Yes.
it's so great to live this life
Mm.
without all that mold and debris. It's so great.
Mm.
It's so great. I look at
Yeah.
people so much different now. I look at
Yes.
everyone so much different because I lived
Hmm.
past that suffering and I
Yes.
became what God wanted me to be. I didn't
Hmm.
direct the traffic anymore. I didn't direct the show anymore. I didn't
Mm.
have to perform so someone would like me. I
Yep.
perform because I'm blazing a trail to help people close their
Yeah.
gap and help themselves. It's not
That's it.
about me. It's not about me. And
That's
we were
right.
talking about this before, success without fulfillment, it's the ultimate failure.
That's
And
it.
my success is that I can be a vehicle for other people to move. that I
Yes.
can be blazing the trail and they can see it in their mind. Okay, 63 can look like that. Okay, I can be at least a little bit better than I am. You don't
Right.
have to be all that I am, but at least
Yeah.
if I'm a little extra, you
Yeah.
can be just kind of extra.
Uh-huh. Of course.
You can be just a
Absolutely.
little, you can just move out a little bit and be better and feel
That's
better and
right.
take that energy out into your life and watch the magic happen and
That's
don't
it.
quit before your miracle. It's so easy to be on the
Yep.
brink of a miracle because Satan loves to show up and blow up your
Hmm.
house right before a breakthrough. So
Yep.
know that you're going to have every obstacle show up right before. I just
Yeah.
got goosebumps.
Yeah.
Right before that breakthrough, every obstacle is going to come in your
Yeah.
face.
That's it.
You grab on God's hand and you say, we're doing it. I'm going to keep going and nothing will stop me and I will not be denied and I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
Yes. You are successful. You are successful blazing that trail. So we could keep going on and on and on. What a great story. I totally could totally do this all day. This is great.
Thank you.
And maybe a part two down the road, maybe.
Sure.
That would be awesome. And so, folks, we're gonna tie a nice little bow in this one right now, and say thank you to Katana. Now, guys and gals watching this, there's a little vote happening for Miss
Oh,
Fitness.
no.
Is it Miss Health? What is the name of the magazine
Health and
again?
fitness, Miss Health and Fitness. Yeah, Miss Health and
Miss
Fitness.
Health and
Health
Fitness.
and
So
Fitness.
she's
Yeah.
so she's moving on up the list there. She's moved up a couple of spots. So let's get out there and help her do that. Now, you can also donate to their cause. They have a charity behind it as well, so that gives you more votes. So, but hey, just want to pass that along, guys. And
Thank you.
Katana, it's been a super
Thank
huge
you,
privilege,
Jacob.
and thank you so much. And we'll be in touch soon. And
And
anything else you
hey,
want to add?
yeah, I would love to add, wherever this goes or whatever context you have, if anybody has any questions
Mhm.
that they want to dive into any part of health and fitness whatsoever with my experience, because I'm the doer, not the trainer.
Yep.
I'm a mental coach, but I'm not the trainer person. Any
Yep.
help on the diet stuff, my experiences with training or what questions they might have that they might want us to do part two, like use the
Yeah.
questions
Absolutely.
to come with specifics on another
Absolutely.
one.
Yeah.
Shoot some questions to you would be great. I'd be happy to
Yeah.
come back.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. You heard her. Get your questions ready. And with that, we'll wrap it up. Katana, great job.
all things are possible if you believe.
Amen. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
All right,
And
thanks,
thank you
Jacob.
guys. All right. Bye bye.